I tried to look at hiring people with disabilities or barriers to employment. I found that those people are the ones that really want to try harder to get a job and keep a job. And so it's been my focus to work with people who have those barriers to give them an opportunity to become productive members of society.
I was actually in the probation office one day, and I ran into one of their past employees, and he gave me the lead. Met with Todd and Brenda that same day, and the next Monday I was to work. Oh, I was excited. I was very excited. You know, I was at the point in time in my life where I was ready to move forward.
He's a marvelous employee. He's one of those guys that you want to stand up for and say, this is what you're looking for when you hire somebody.
He's a dad, he's a mentor, he's a father, your friend. He's always been there for every employee that he's had. Oh, I've learned more in the last 5 years than I have my whole life probably, but you know, I learned about being a better person, being a man, you know, a family guy, what responsibilities truly are.
He's my senior window cleaner, he is my safety coordinator, he's my go-to guy when I need anything done, and he's also now doing my sales. Well, we started working to try to get the contract to clean the state windows, and we got the contract, but in getting the contract, we were told that we couldn't put certain people on the job.
People that have unsupervised access, either contractors or employees, have to have a very clean background, and they can't have any felonies. Most of the time with contractors, there isn't much of a problem. We don't have things present an issue. In this event, it seemed like we had people coming back with not meeting the standards.
I was actually a little discouraged, but at the same time, I was not shocked. You know, I mean, it was in the back of my mind the whole time, and but it didn't discourage me to the point where I would just walk away. I was ready to fight.
At this breakfast a year ago, I had ABC Windows come up to me and say, we may have a problem. We've been awarded the contract with DAS for washing the state windows here in town, but we have an individual who has a felony, who is one of our best employees. We need him on the job to accomplish this.
And he immediately took that as part of one of the things he wanted to do, is to figure out how to make this work.
And I had to get DAS in the room to say, as private employers, we're encouraging people to go out and employ these people and help them, but yet our own government, which I represent to the people, was stopping a business from being successful.
He asked me to come over and sit down and talk with him, and we had a discussion about what we do.
We had to get past the bureaucracy and the check marks and say, well, let's go interview this person. Let's make an exception here.
At that interview, it was pretty plain to see that his criminal background was not something that would put anybody else in jeopardy, including the state.
Our staff was applying some of the most stringent standards more often than they should be. And so when we looked into this issue, we really looked at, well, for this contract, did the contractor and his employees have to meet that highest level standard? And then we found that, okay, we can apply the lesser standard where we can look at all the circumstances and make a judgment call about whether the person is appropriate for the work that they're going to be performing.
They just basically asked, you know, what the situations were, because all they can really see is what the charge was. So I explained the situation when the charge happened, what I have done to better myself as well, and you know, just took them through the steps of my life and at that point in time, and they were able to take a decision from there.
You start to take a hard look at what you're doing and why, or what other people are doing and why, and ask questions about it. And when things don't seem to make complete sense, it's an opportunity to reevaluate and start doing business differently.
Society sees things one way when it comes to criminals, and when you actually step in front of them and show you the type of person you really are, they can see for themselves. You know, we can show them who we are. We can't put it on paper. I was told, you look better in person than you do on paper. Those were the words I was told.
I think it was about a week later, after they had reviewed their policies and everything, and then they came back to us and said, yeah, okay.
I could have jumped for joy that day. It was the biggest step in my life since my recovery. You know, that was just another barrier that I was able to overcome.
Had a state representative not gotten involved and asked DAS to reconsider and to really look at this situation, we may have had an unhappy ending.
The course correction that we made was one that met our interests, and you know, the local contractor was able to secure work and employ people in the local community, so it really was a win-win.
It just shows that with a little determination and getting the right people involved, you can solve some of the bigger problems.